Howdy, Joel Peters here. Today we're going to take a look at Borderlands 4 and memory usage. I had someone in the comments on our most recent video who stated that Borderlands 4 was using 36 or 32 gigabytes and they were bewildered by it. I have to start this video by saying the game does not use even remotely close to that much RAM. The way Steam calculates RAM usage is the full system, and I had a bunch of different programs that were enabled basically when I started up my machine. And so I'm going to just show you here all the stuff that's currently running on the computer right now. The computer was also running for like 5 days straight without turning off. There was an update, all that stuff, right? So I'm doing a proper video to kind of show off performance. I didn't realize how much it would affect it, but you can see 64 gigs of RAM, all that stuff, right? And then of course, if we go to our tasks that we've got upon boot up, here you go. There's not that much, there's nothing enabled upon startup. All this other stuff is just standard. You know, we've got Notepad, which I use, all of these things. OBS Studio is using up barely under 100 megabytes. Borderlands 4 is using up about that much RAM. But I want to break it down. And I want to utilize the Steam UI to show you what happens when you enable performance monitor, different things. Okay. So here is Steam's performance monitor. I did grab the latest version of that update for the engine UI tweak. I'm at 1440p. I just found it runs best. These are the settings. I'm running an FSR. I'm running frame generation. I have no real issues with this. This looks fine enough to me. Okay, well, here we go. There's been no shader optimization. There's been nothing like that with this so far. NVIDIA container, don't know why it keeps enabling. It's really annoying. I don't have an NVIDIA GPU anymore. Maybe I have to go run DDU. But anyways, here you go. I have Task Manager up so you can see how much RAM is actually used. You can see that RAM usage is 20.1 gigabytes out of 63.9 gigs, because again, I got 64 gigabytes of RAM. And we can see that Borderlands 4 is not even coming remotely close to this. On that video I made about the minimum specs, less than minimum specs, the 6700 i7 and the RTX 2070, in that machine I had 16 gigabytes of RAM. It was very low spec DDR4 RAM, 2133 or 2400 megahertz or something like that. Very low spec. The Steam overlay does use about 100 megabytes. And so you're using just under a gig right on Steam alone. And you can see all the things that run on your computer, right? So that's why it all calculated to run 20.3 gigabytes. It is a bit silly that someone would think that it would use that much, but I understand it too, and so I wanted to clarify that this game doesn't use anywhere again close to that amount of memory. Because it is running from an NVMe M.2 SSD, it is, going to have faster load times and things like that. It's almost instantaneous in a way to get in. I haven't noticed any major load times except for when you're switching, you die and you have to go, respawn or whatever. But there you go. I just wanted to show you. The max I think I've seen it hit is about 11 or 12 gigs. So if you have 60 gigs of RAM, you're really on the cusp of it. This is why they're recommending 16 at the minimum to make it not even necessarily playable, but like 720 or 1080p 30 FPS. Of course, what we're going to do in this video is I have my settings. I am going to go ahead and disable, or I'm going to go ahead and lower or up our quality here to badass. I don't like badass. We're also going to go with the lowest settings, lowest possible. We're not going to have frame generation off. This is basically just going to be maxed out, okay? We're doing this for a reason. We're doing this. I don't want motion blur off. That's going to be turned off. But we're gonna do everything else here. We're gonna look at the memory usage real quick before we end this video. All right, 1440p. Here's our settings. You can see it runs like complete trash on this card, which is unfortunate. At 1080p, it doesn't fare any better. It goes slightly higher, about 20, maybe 10, 15% more performance. We can see our RAM has spiked. Also, we are closer now to 10.3, 10.4 gigabytes used. I don't want to play at these settings. Because if we just lower it to very high, for example, same thing, our frame rate goes up a couple. And the issue is, if you look in the INI file for the engine, it's all about Lumen. Lumen and Nanite is used from Unreal Engine 5. and it is notorious for causing it to tank performance. Go high. Just went up about 10 FPS, give or take. Slightly under, but that's what we sat at. There's not a massive trade-off in this, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't say that the game really needs that. Apply here. And there we go. By just going to that, okay? And of course, if you turn frame generation on, it's gonna look, here's Ultra Performance with frame generation on. Looks like complete trash. No, that's not 110 FPS. That doesn't feel like it. If we move our mouse, I mean, it feels smooth, don't get me wrong, but that's, you know, not exactly. I mean, it is, but it isn't, you know? It makes it look trash. But if you go to quality, you go to FSR and you leave it on this, I mean, this is, you know, you're getting about 80 FPS. It does upset me a little bit that this is the trade-offs you have to make to be able to play this. But again, what I'll end up doing is probably getting myself a 6750X, or sorry, 9060 XT or 16 gig or 9070 XT maybe used or something like that later on, if my card can't handle it. Right now, this is running fine, and I don't have any realistic reason to upgrade besides slightly more performance. So, like I said, now you're probably wondering, all right, how about 1080p? How much RAM are we going to use at 1080p? Or, you know what, let's change it. It's crashed when I've done this, by the way. But how much RAM are we going to use if we go to 720p? This menu has to be fixed, by the way. Because when you change it, it doesn't go any higher, which I think is incredibly dumb, in my humble opinion. This looks remarkably bad. There's no reason to be at this resolution at all. Makes no sense. But here's the problem. See this? You click on this, you can't go any higher. Their menu is broken. It's so, that has to be fixed, because the only way you can get back is if you set it to full screen, then you go here, then you go here, and you're like, all right, well, how does this work? Yada yada yada, and it's dumb. It's just dumb. But anyway, here's 1080p. I mean, yeah, I could play the game like this and it wouldn't bother me, but I would much rather play it at the resolution that I like. And unfortunately, you're almost forced to use frame generation. Like, you see this? Like, if you want to go full screen, it's just because, honestly, full screen really wasn't, like, borderless full screen is what these things handle, and it's just so unbelievably annoying. That's how it works, right? So anyway, I just thought I would make this video super quick, just to jump in and show you, hey, here's how the game performs. The shotgun is amazing. I can't aim for crap. I need to know. I need to know something. 1 second here. I need to know if I disable this, does my aim get better? No. Aim gets... That was cool though. That's a little too slow for me. You know? It's a shame that we've come to this point where you're almost required, I don't say by law, but you're almost required to have it. I mean, this looks fine though. This runs fine. Frame generation isn't like the worst thing in the world, but if you want to actually enjoy your experience at 1440p, oh, sorry, that's what I wanted. You're almost kind of forced to play at these settings. Yeah, that's okay. I made a mistake. That's for the map and stuff. Go back to quality. All right. Anyway. It's a good game though. I really do think it's good. It's just, it's surrounded by a bunch of controversial issues, and it's a shame because this is probably the best Borderlands game to come out in years, as I mentioned multiple times in my previous video. It's good. It's really good. Anyway, I gotta get back to work. But I hope this video was insightful and gave you some yeah, give you insight into performance of this game and how it performs on this hardware. And you can see we have not crossed the 22 gigabyte threshold yet. We'll probably get closer to 23, 24 gigs by the end, just as the game continues to run. But I've seen it basically sitting at about 10.8 gigabytes. If I probably continue through the game, maybe get to other areas, I'll probably get a little bit, I don't want to say worse, but I'll probably get more, more memory usage. I don't know if there's memory leaks or whatever, but it's running fine. I'm happy with it, and I can't complain. And I've just been watching the frame rate, or the memory usage this whole time. Alright, well thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Joel Peters, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.